Hey guys, it's me again. I'm saying this week's video, but I've been working on it for quite a bit of time. But I'm doing a reading challenge. This was kind of spurred by a wellness challenge I did at work a while ago, and it was read 30 minutes a day. So I thought, since last month I didn't do too hot reading wise, I would make a challenge where I read an hour every day. But I thought it'd be fun to put a catch that it's an hour and only an hour. So as soon as my timer goes off, I have to stop where I am. It has led to some irritation, some weird cliffhangers, but overall, it has been quite a journey. And I've learned quite a bit about my reading style, I guess you could call it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the clips. Okay, so day one, it is May 2nd, and I read War Storm by Victoria Aveyard. I got 43 pages in, and I'm liking it so far. So I will see y'all tomorrow. It is May 3rd. As you can see, it is a binge Jenna Marbles kind of day. But we're going to go ahead, get this pulled up, and get started on our reading for today. Okay, so I just finished my reading for the day. I got to page 84 and still enjoying it, so I will say it started much better than the last book did. I'm really looking forward to finally finishing this series. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, I finished my reading for today. It is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. I am wearing my dye shirt, so that's what all that is. But I made it to page 129 in Warstorm, and let me tell you, this dinner is a lot. It's very juicy drama-wise. I'm very sad I had to stop in the middle of it. So we'll get back to that tomorrow. So I realized I didn't update you yesterday, but I got to page 173 in Warstone, and then today, May 6th, I got to page 212. Yep. I must say, I'm realizing I'm a slower reader than I thought I was, and that this is going to take a bit longer than I thought it would. But the book's good so far, so yeah. I will check back with you tomorrow. Okay, it is May 7th, and I got to page 256 today, and I really didn't want to stop reading. I want to finish this. Well, not the whole book, but the chapter I'm on. But I'm the dumbass that set a minimum and maximum of 1 hour. So here we are. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. So the past few days, it is May 10th. The past few days I haven't been updating you guys, but I have been reading. I'm on page 335, I believe, of Warstorm. I've just been reading really late at night, so by the time I'm done, I'm just really tired. But today is my day off, so I'm probably going to do some stuff around the house. I think I'm gonna re-dye my hair today too. So yeah, lots of fun stuff going on today. But I still need to get my reading done for today, so I will be doing that soon. So I will talk to you after that, I promise. Okay, I finished my reading for today. I got to page 380, It's starting to get a little frustrating because I feel like I could definitely have this finished by now. But obviously I set a minimum and maximum of 1 hour, so... And some days it's really hard to hit the hour, especially after working for a while, because I'm just so tired. I must say though, I've read a lot of like revolutionary books and stuff like that, and a lot of them I feel like don't show a lot of the battles and stuff like that, which this one shows like everyone, which I really like. It's fun to read, so it gets points for that. I will be back. Well, I might not be back tomorrow, but I will be reading tomorrow. I just want to finish this book. So it's later today. Well, it's later from when I last filmed this, but I really want to read, but I already finished my reading for the day. So now I'm just bummed. This is starting to get to the sucky part. I finished my reading for today. It is May 11th. And of course, we stopped at a very inopportune moment. So, I love that for me. I love that I keep doing this. And I love that I'm not even halfway through yet. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, I finished my reading today. It is May 12th. And I got to page, what was it? 476, I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm rooting for Evangeline at this point. Like, she's still kind of awful, but I feel like I always end up kind of rooting for those. They start off as like a bitch character. Also, I dyed my hair today. Hands are very green. But those bitch characters, I feel like I just always end up rooting for them by the end of the story. Because I want them to be happy eventually. I don't know. But yeah. We're hitting a sad part right now, and I had to stop in the middle of it. As per usual. This challenge is really fun. Everyone should do it. I finished my reading today. It is May 14th. I am actually home right now in bed with my buddy. There she be. But yeah, getting pretty close to the end. I know how it's gonna play out, but interested to see how we're gonna end up there at this point. Okay, so I finished my reading for today. It is late, as you can probably tell. I literally have literally have 3 pages left of this fucking book. I'm so mad I had to stop. 3 pages. 3. Or like 2.5. Okay, so if you couldn't tell by my last clip, I was a little frustrated last night. So one of the first things I did this morning when I woke up was start my timer and finish the 3 pages of this book. So I just finished this. So I'm going to give you guys my little review of it now. And if anything changes, I'll put it like at the end. If for some reason I change my rating, but I don't think I will for this one. It's pretty straightforward for me. This book brought back a lot of what I liked about the first two. Like, it reminded me of them. Like I said, I had a lot of trouble with King's Cage, and getting into that one, that was not an issue with this book. This book is very action-packed. Almost like 50% of this book is just straight action, which I like. It's one of the things I liked about the other books, is how much action it had, because I'm just a person that enjoys a lot of action because it keeps me busy. It doesn't bore me. That being said, at the end, it felt like there's just battle, ending. Like there was no resolve in between. It left a lot of things unsaid and just out in the open for the reader to kind of figure out. So I find the ending to be very lackluster. I say that's my biggest criticism of this book, honestly, the ending. Another thing is the characters in it. So in King's Cage, it hits a point where the characters are suddenly like acting very mature. And in this one, in the beginning at least, it feels like they're like back to acting how they were, which is kind of immature. Which I guess I could see why, but it's just a weird inconsistency that I noticed. I don't know. I like characters that are consistent and make sense in their changes. Another thing about this book is it gets to like halfway and then it throws in like a bunch of different points of views that we didn't have like for the rest of the series. Well, I guess it's not a bunch. I think it was only like 2. But still, that's quite a bit. That's 2 different points of views that we haven't had at all. So that felt a little weird, just throwing that in there. I will say though, this book wasn't as time jumpy as the rest of them were. It took place fairly consistently. I wasn't lost as to where we were timeline wise. Although this last book, and they're saying this is all transpired over a year. I don't know about that timeline. I'm very thrown off by King's Cage and its timeline. Kind of messed up the rest of the series, which is only this book, thankfully, but yeah, it kind of threw that off for me. Just another criticisms of King's Cage I gotta throw in there, I suppose. But yeah, like I said, this book reminded me a lot of the first 2, and first 2 I gave 4 stars, and I don't think this one is any better or worse than those. So it's a solid 4 for me as well. Well, I guess by the time you're seeing this, I should have it up. If I'm good, I should have it up. But I should have a full review of the Red Queen series up here or here. I always forget which side it's on. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna start trying to decide which book I want to start next. The only book I really have right now is The Circle, but I have Dear Edward on hold at the library. So I should be getting that relatively soon. So I think I'm just going to start The Circle, and if I get Dear Edward, I'll start reading Dear Edward and kind of pause on The Circle. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll see you guys with my next update. I finished my reading for the night. It's May 18th. I haven't gotten Dear Edward yet, so I am reading The Circle. I am on page 75, and so far I'm really creeped out. The overall vibes are just, they aren't this, they're that. They're not good. Not good. I'm very uncomfy. Okay, it is May 20th. I have finished my reading for the day. I got to page 163, and I have some thoughts. Didn't update you guys yesterday, but yesterday when I finished reading, I was kind of weirded out. It's like they're trying to build this like utopia, but it also seems like extremely sketchy. Like no one has a lot of privacy, I guess. And then today it kind of continued on in that same vein. And it kind of opened up a conversation about social media and how toxic it can be. And I'm not sure when this book was published. Let me double check. This book was published back in 2013. I feel like now we're having a lot bigger conversations about that, but like we weren't a lot back then. So I don't know. I find it really interesting, and I'm excited to read more. So this book is really concerning. It's like they don't want anyone to have any form of privacy whatsoever. I'm so concerned. But also the main character isn't really that likable. So I have mixed feelings on it. But yeah. My main thoughts towards the book right now is just, I'm concerned. I'm on page 212, so almost halfway through. It is very late. It is May 23rd. But I finished my reading today. I'm on page 293. And this main character is really not tasteful. I don't know. It's hard to think of words right now. I'm not a fan, essentially. But yeah. So I finished my reading for today. It is May 24th. I'm just confused. Like, there's so many red flags. Just like in general. And I think they said they have like 10,000 people working there. And no one's caught on. You just don't understand. I didn't think that this character could get any worse. Yet here we are. She's gotten much worse. The whole story's gotten worse. And I'm just annoyed and confused. I only have like 100 pages left though, so. Also, it's May 25th, in case you were curious. We're almost there. 5 more days left of this, and then I can just read as much as I want, whenever I want. So, as usual, I got to work way too early. So, I need to kill some time, so I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys a reading update now. I'm on page 479 of The Circle, and it's May 27th. I didn't update you guys yesterday because honestly, not much happened in the book. Like, it was a bunch of stuff that could have been easily summed up. And then I guess quite a bit happened here. And I've been thinking to myself that I felt like this book was going to take a really dark turn, just kind of out of nowhere. And it did. I'm not really happy with it. I'm not happy with a lot of the decisions made in this book. It's just not my cup of tea. But I have 18 pages left, which I'll finish tomorrow, no problem. And I'll get more into the issues I'm having in the review and all that. So, see you guys then. Okay. Sorry if you hear a bunch of background noise. I think some people are moving in outside, so ignore that. But I finished The Circle yesterday, because after I finished it, I had a slight headache, and then that turned into a really big headache. I kind of just quit the day at that point. So yeah. But I finished this, and when I say I have some thoughts, I don't even know where to begin. Let's just start with my expectations. So when I started reading this, I think there's even a clip where I said something about it. I don't know, for you guys it was a few minutes ago. For me it was over a week ago. But I'm pretty sure I said something about how I thought this was going to be a real interesting conversation about social media and our obsession with it. There was no conversation. There was no conversation about anything in this book. Basically, there's one side, there's the other side, and they're just yelling at each other. I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. There isn't anyone that's like in the middle of the issue, like leaning either way, or there's no middle ground at all. It's either you're this or you're that, and neither side are going to listen to each other no matter what. Speaking of the sides, on the one side, that's pro circle, I guess you want to say. That's obviously the circle and everyone using it, but they broadcast these really outlandish ideas and people just eat them up like they're all for it. Like a direct quote from this book that is broadcast to the rest of at least the Circle company is privacy is theft. And everyone ate that up. I'm like, so I'm supposed to believe they say they have 10,000 people working at the Circle. That 10,000 people just readily agree with that. And there's someone that actually believes that you never need any form of privacy. It just is mind-boggling. I've seen people classify this as a dystopian book, or like trying to classify it as one, but I don't agree with that. It's set in the United States, and it's set around the time of 2013 because they're referencing stuff that happened during that time. Obviously, not all the names of government officials and all that are the same, but like it's essentially 2013. But if we were more, well, honestly, if our technology was more like it was today. So yeah, I can't really get on board with the fact that people actually believe this. There's actually someone that thinks like this. And B, that people eat that up when it is broadcasted to them. Like, the way it's framed is there's like only like a very few people against it. It's... I have no words. Then we gotta talk about May. May is the main character of this book. And she's awful. And that's all there is to her. Like, she's selfish. She's self-entitled, which I guess those two go hand in hand. She's rude for no reason. And just randomly. And she's also fat phobic. Just the cherry on top of it all. Which is crazy because in the movie, Emma Watson plays her. So I'm really curious to know what she thinks of the character or if she's read the book. But yeah, May is essentially... How do I say this without spoilers? She essentially just gets sucked into this world of social media and all that. So she's putting on a very fake facade and trying to, like... She's trying to pretend that she's, like, this really nice person. But she's, like, really judgmental, really nasty to, like, some of the people she's closest with. Like, honestly, when I was reading this, I was like, maybe the movie would be better because you can't hear her thoughts. Like, honestly, it's so bad. There's a lot of two-facedness in this book. Not just May. I will say that at least. But... And there's, like, no reason for it. She's just awful. And then the time she is called out for being self-entitled and selfish, the thing she was doing wasn't even, like, actually selfish. It was just, like, ugh, it's just, I can't. And then, out of nowhere, the book takes a dark turn, which I figured it was going to, but it's just so frustrating to read. The only thing that saved it from 1 star is the fact that it kept me engaged throughout it. I mean, there were some lulls where it's just talking about her working, which is like, cool, I don't care. Also, I still really wanted to know how the story ends, if May changes at all. Things I wanted to know that kept me engaged and kept me reading. So, all in all, it did end up with 2 stars. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm just happy I'm done with the book. I also needed time before I filmed this, otherwise I'd just start ranting. But in other news, I did get Dear Edward from my library, and I am reading that now. It's like one of their ebooks, so the formatting's a little weird, so it looks like I'm reading it super fast, but I think it's just because it's an ebook. But I'm on page 105 of that right now, and this book I actually really like so far, and I'm really excited to keep reading it. It's already made me cry multiple times. But yeah, that's my update. Read The Circle at your own risk. Yes, I just held the book upside down. Deal with it. See you guys in the next clip. I look gross. I just woke up. But it's May 31st, which means today is my last day. I'm surprised I've made it this far, honestly. I'm so excited to be done. And I'm really excited to read in June. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of fun things planned. But yeah, I am going to go ahead and just knock out that reading for today now, and then I'll meet back up with you guys to talk and go over some stats, I guess. Okay, it is time to wrap things up for this month's reading challenge. So, I guess I'll just start with a general update of what I read today. I was reading Dear Edward. I got to page 217, and let's just say there hasn't been a day where I read this book and didn't cry. It's been a lot, but in a good way. Really enjoying it. Okay, so I thought it'd be fun to gather some stats on my reading this month. So Warstorm took me 16 days to complete. Granted, the last day I didn't spend the full hour reading it because I had 3 pages left, but we'll go ahead and say that's a 16-hour read. So I went ahead and compared it to the audiobook on Libby. The audiobook on Libby says it is a 22-hour. So although I did realize that I'm a bit of a slower reader, I'm still not audiobook slow, which is a win. The Circle took me 12 days to read, and according to the audio book on Libby, it is a 14-hour one. So that one I got pretty close to the audiobook one. But also, one thing I forgot to mention in my review for The Circle is there's a lot of like sections where it just info dumps on you, and that literally gave me headaches, which I'll get into that later in this. Then finally, I went ahead and looked up Dear Edward because I said I'm doing a ebook for that, I'm pretty sure, earlier. But according to that, I'm 46% of the way through that. So I'm about halfway through, and I've spent 3 days reading it thus far. And the audiobook for that says it's a 12-hour read. So, I'm killing it on that one. One thing I did notice about my reading is, like I said, I found out I was a bit of a slower reader than I thought I was. So beginning of the month, on a good day, I did around 45 pages. By the end of the month, for paper copy books at least, I was doing about 46. So went up a little bit. But on days where I was really tired, I wasn't feeling good, or I had a really bad headache, which a few of those came up, and a few of those came up because I was reading, that would decrease the number of pages I read to like the mid-30s, high 30s, around there. So that would slow me down quite a bit. But I went ahead and calculated how many pages I read this month, averaged that to get my average page count. So for Warstorm, that was my copy 657 pages. My copy for The Circle is 497. My copy for Dear Edward, well, not my copy, the ebook, I've read 217 out of that. So in total, I've read 1,371 pages this month. Divided that by 30, so my average page count per hour is about 45.7, which is on track with what I said about how it started at 45. By the end, we upped it to 46. And then for the ebook, which I think this is because it has different formatting, I only read like 3 days worth of it, but I think the average for that was around like 55. So, which 55 was more on brand for what I was expecting it to be. Yeah. So I did learn a lot about reading and when I do my best reading, I guess. So there was really interesting in that aspect. But mentally, I was not having a good month. Most of the time, I just wanted to read to kind of help that escapism aspect. But if I'd already done my hour, then I didn't read. And that made me really sad. So I was having not a good month. On the bright side, I feel really re-energized for, I said next month, but it's tomorrow, for June. Yeah, I'm really excited to really get back into reading in June. Reading by the pool, reading outside, gonna be so cute. Hot girl summer. I'm kidding. Yeah, really excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. If you want to stick around to see more of my videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're able, go support your local bookstore. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye!